it's Liz Yuille from Odd Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today. Today's project is this little box, and there are a couple of bits about this that I think are slightly different. So let's start by opening it up and revealing what's inside. So this is a little box that stores the 4 shimmer paints that are, or shimmer inks I think they're called, that are coming in the new autumn winter catalogue. They're gorgeous! I did a project a few days ago. It was for a colour challenge at one of the team colour challenges, and I sprayed mint macaron with diluted First Frost. Not first, yes, Frost White, not First Frost. First Frost is the stamp set. But yes, so it's water with just a few drops of the Frost White ink in it. And it was just amazing. Absolutely staggering. And I also did a project using the blended seasons, which, please, they are so popular, and they are only running until the end of August, or for however long stocks last. So if you want the blended seasons stamp set, anyway, I used the blended season stamp set with the gold for the autumn. So these little pots slip really nicely into this little box, and it's got a lid, and it's covered in the Frosted Florals designer series paper, which is to die for. Have I got that right? Yes, Frosted Florals Specialty Designer Series paper. It's coming in the new catalogue, and it's all frosted, well, pearlized. It's gorgeous. It is just amazing. And it's a great transition from summer into autumn, because some of the florals are really not that autumn winter, and some of them are just on that edge of autumn winter. So really lovely. So it's using this pattern paper, and the sentiment, which is from the Frosted Florals stamp set, sorry, First Frost stamp set, wishing you all the best, has been stamped using one of the inks. So let's get started. This is going to be very measurement heavy. I have only done it in inches, so if you're an imperial person, it's good to go. If you are metric, sorry. Anyway, so the box is 5 1/4. She says, checking. Yes, 5 1/4 by 1 3/8 by 1 3/4. The 1 3/4 is the height, so it's 5 1/4 by 1 3/4 by 1 3/8. It's got an absolute flush lid. I've just realised which thing I have forgotten, and that's the punch. So I'll whiz and get a punch, 2 punches, because we need a small punch. I have one of the punches, but we need a small punch for the top, which we will come to. Right, so oh, look, this is what I was doing to try out which inks to use on which paper. So this is the champagne, and this is the copper. I think I'll probably go for the copper on the mossy meadow, but isn't that just stunning? So, okay, we have 3 pieces of actual measured cardstock. So we are starting with a base that measures, let's get which one's which. Right, so this is the base. This measures, yeah, I know it's going to be odd, 8 inches and 8 and 11, excuse me. Let's try that again. 8 and 11/16 by 4 and 13/16. So 8 and 11/16 by 4 and 13/16. It's just, well, I'm going to have all the measurements on my blog post, which is below, isn't it? So that's that. This is 8 3/4 by 4 7/8. So basically, if you cut 2 of these and take 1/16 of an inch off each side, or not by each side, I mean by off the short side and the long side, but only the once, then that's what you get for this. So this piece, which is for the divider, is 1 5/16 by 11 3/16. So it's basically 1 3/8 by 11 1/4 with a 16th taken off the long edge and the short edge. So I hope you understood that. As I say, the measurements and the score marks will be on my blog post. That really is going to be your friend for this. But it's a lovely storage solution to keep them all together, and I thought it was kind of nice to have the frosted papers because it's shimmer inks. So I'm going to start with the base, which is the smaller of the 2 kind of what one might call normal sized pieces. And all I'm going to do is try not to scoot my paper around. I'm going to have to stick that down, aren't I? In fact, let's bring it over a bit so I know where the centre of the camera is. There we are. Right, so all we're doing with the base is scoring at 1 3/4 on every side. So I'm going to use my trimmer because I'm going to need the trimmer for the divider. So 1 3/4 on each of the 4. Is this the base or the lid? It's the base, that's all right. So the base, yeah, 1 3/4. I was doubting myself there for a moment. 1 3/4 on each side. If you could see my notes. Well, you can see my notes. These are my notes. Yeah. It's been a fun one. So that's that. Then for the lid, we are going to score at 1 3/4 on each edge. So it's basically the same. And I'm going to do all the scoring, and then I'm going to put everything together because then I can get rid of my trimmer. So it's one less thing to clutter my space up with. So 1 3/4 on every side there. Now I need to get rid of those bits for the moment, bring this across and down a bit because this is where the fun really starts. So this is the piece for the divider. Okay, so we are going to score at, and the edge is going to go off the side for the end is going to go off the side for the moment. And as I say, this is all over on my blog, so you really don't need to fret. So the first one is 1 1/4. Here's a nice measurement. 2 1/4. 3 1/4. 4 9/16. So that's 8/16. 8/16 is basically a half. So we want 9/16. So it's a half plus 1. And it's one of these little blips. So 4 9/16. 5 9/16. So 5 1/2 and 1 little blip. And then 6 9/16. Unfortunately, it does actually, it's just visible in the dent there. Right, 7 7/8. So 7/8 is 1/8 back from the whole inch, but it's so 7 7/8. 8 7/8. And 9 7/8. And that is all our scoring done. So let's do some burnishing. Now I am going to start by burnishing this piece. Whoops, that's the wrong way. So what you need to do is the inch lines, they've got a square, a square, a square, a square. So these in the middle are going to become the divide. Like that. So you need to kind of concertina them. So what I'm going to do is do the bottoms, and then I'll come back and burnish the tops. Because that way I can do everything in one everything that goes one way once, and then everything goes the other way once. She says, famous last words. It does kind of make sense when you've got it in your hands. So we're then going to have this shape like that. So in order to get that, I'm just going to grab my glue and just run a little bit of glue on the bottom of one of each of those bits, and then squish them together and just make sure they are happy that they are together. And then you can pop those to one side just to kind of finish. But that's the, because I've burnished them down, you've got that shape. Right, so the actual box, this is standard stuff, so let's just make sure I know which is the top and which is the bottom. Right, so this is the base. So it doesn't really matter which is the top and the bottom, apart from the fact it's useful to know which one's going inside which. So I'm just going to burnish all of the score lines and then come in with my snips. And because these bits, this is a longer measurement than this, I'm going to have this as the flap. So all of these corners are going to be cut so that the long edge is in the breeze, as it were. So all I'm doing is cutting straight down the score line, or I say straight down the score line, so the score line is to the outside of the piece, and then cutting away the score line. So I'm not, you know, you can take a larger piece out, but you don't need to take a huge piece. It's just so that it all sits neatly together. So trim away, and then score line to the outside of this long piece, cut away the score line, score line to the outside of the long piece, cut away the score line, and just take a piece off the end. So you end up with that. So really straightforward. Then, and again, glue, tear and tape would be fine. I wouldn't recommend snail for this because snail really isn't strong enough to adhere card on a box. And I kind of squish the glue a bit, and I do like to make sure I get a definitely straight edge just by popping everything square on my work surface. And again, I'm going to move that glue around a bit and then squish it down, and then glue onto these pieces. And obviously we'll be doing another one because we need a lid. And then squish it all down, move it about a bit, and that just helps smooth the glue out. Move it about a bit and smooth the glue out. And then I come in with my bone folder and just make sure that's properly adhered. And that is our base. Now, while we're at our base, moment of truth. That will fit in there nicely. It's going to be really snug, but that's fine. I am going to make the lid first, just to make sure I've got the lid and the base the right way around, because I don't want to stick the divider in and then discover I've got the wrong one. That would be sad, wouldn't it? So I'm doing, let's pop the lid on that while I'm playing. Again, just trim away and trim away. So, are you excited to get your hands on the new Autumn Winter catalogue? I have to say, I think it's one of the best we have had. It's amazing. There are so many different sorts of designs. So I think there's something for people who like a cute Christmas, people who like Halloween. It's a really cute Halloween set. If you're looking for something that's sort of Thanksgiving-ish, not that we really do Thanksgiving in the UK, but there is that whole autumn. There's the Harvest Festival, which is in effect Thanksgiving. So there's lots of stuff for that. There is, I mean, it's just, stunning. If you do not already have a copy of the Autumn Winter catalogue, do drop me a line. If you don't work with the Demonstrator already, do drop me a line and I will pop one in the post to you. And equally, if you don't have an annual catalogue, let me know. And obviously, if you don't have either and would like both, let me know that too, and I can get them in the same envelope for you. My contact details are on my blog, and that is linked immediately below this video in the description bar. So, yeah, I would love to earn your custom. So just, as I say, pop an email across to me, and I will get a catalogue in the post to you. All of my customers who have ordered from me in the last year, if you've placed an online order in the last year or a face-to-face order in the last year, you should by now have your Autumn Winter catalogue from me. If you've ordered a craft box from me, because I get orders from other demonstrators for craft boxes, which I'm happy to do, then I haven't autumn. Woo, that's squished. That's the joy of liquid adhesive. You see, you can move it whilst it's still wet. So yes, if you've ordered a craft box and you want a catalogue, I won't have automatically sent you one because I don't necessarily know who's a demonstrator and who isn't. So if you have ordered one, and you haven't, if you have ordered a craft box, this is the moment of truth. Yay! So if you have ordered a craft box and haven't received a catalogue from me, that's why. Right. So yes, just let me know and I can get one out to you. So that's going to fit in there, and then just to make sure that it actually stays in place. I mean, it is a tight fit, but so that it stays in place, I am, just going to pop some adhesive in as well. So if I hold it all up and pop it in so that the glue doesn't, I was just doing that so that the glue didn't squish down these ends, and then pop it all in place. As I say, it's a very, very tight fit, but that's kind of what you want. So let's just get that in. There we go. So that's our base. This is our lid. So for covering the lid, you need 2 pieces of paper that are cut at 5 inches by 1.5, one that is 5 by 1 1/8, and 2 that are 1.5 by 1 1/8. So for this I am going to use Snail, famous last words, it looks like it's running out, just for speed, and again you could use tear and tape. I wouldn't recommend liquid adhesive for this because it will be too wet for the paper. How are we doing for time? Because I've now worked out how the timer works. We are at about 20 minutes, so that's fine, we're nearly there. In fact, actually, I may do a stop and restart of putting paper on because I've just had a thought about the stamping needs to dry. So I have a scrap of Mossy Meadow. Oh, did I say this is Mossy Meadow? I don't think I did. This is Mossy Meadow, and the previous one, this is Blackberry Bliss. Right, so I need the inks out of this box, don't I? I want the copper. Now, these inks need a good old shake because they've got pigment in them, as in they've got like mica powder, lots and lots of mica. Sorry, this paper is really doing my head in. So you can use it on fabric as well, and you just iron it after it's dried. So all I've done is shake that up, and I've already mounted up the, where's my ink stamp pad? The Wishing You All the Best, and I've got a paintbrush, and I'm just painting that on. I did try putting it on the silicone mat and trying to pick it up from that, but it kind of overloaded the stamp. So this seems, for me, and it's worth, giving it a go and seeing what happens. This, for me, was the most successful way of getting the ink onto the stamp. And I've kind of brushed it on and then pouncing it. So, stamp that. And there we go. So there we are. Now that has got to dry. It doesn't take forever to dry, but it has got to dry. And I'm not a great fan of baby wipes, but I think for getting this ink off, it's probably the best thing to start with. So start by taking your ink off with that, and then use your usual stamp cleaner. I would use the scrub, so that you've got all of the mica out of the inside of the stamp. I mean, it's fine. It's using these inks on stamps is perfectly fine. It's not a problem. So from that point of view, I really wouldn't worry. Right, so where were we? We were putting this on. So, and I knew that was going to happen. Right, grab another one, which is just there. Right, let's try that again, as they say. So just pop these on. Now obviously in the privacy of your own home you can take a little more time overdoing it, but for speed I am just, popping them on. Oop! Well, I would be popping them on if I could get it on. Thank you. Right, last one. Right, and 3/4 inch hole punch, and then you can do it. You can actually measure if you want, but I'm just going to do it by eye. I'm just going to punch out the bit of cardstock that is underneath the designer series paper. Just so there's something, because it's a flush fitting lid, by which I mean it goes all the way to the base. It's just easier to have that. Right, Pear Pizzazz ribbon, because Pear Pizzazz is one of the greens in the paper. The ribbon on this version is the powder pink shimmer ribbon, so they're both the shimmer ribbons, because again that's, it's in the designer series paper. So this is much easier to tie when you've got the inks actually in the box, because it's got some weight behind it. But as it is, trying to tie something that has no weight to it, or keep it in place, is just interesting. It's fine, but it's interesting. So, there we go. So a nice bow. Let's sort that out. And grab my snips and cut that. And we should now have this dry. So I need my pretty label punch and just line that so that it's sort of straight and punch it out, and then grab a couple of dimensionals, pop those on the back, and we are done. So a really cute little storage unit for, get that central, a little storage unit for your shimmer inks, which means you'll know where they are. They will be in one place and they'll all be together. So that's that one, and this is the original, and obviously I will tie the ribbon again for the photographs. But I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you need any of the supplies, obviously the catalogue's not live until the 5th of September, so pop them on your wish list, or you can get them now if you join my team, because if you join my team, if in your starter kit you can put anything that is currently available to demonstrators. So that's annual catalogue, the new autumn winter catalogue, the blended seasons, stamp set, bundle, so dies, the watercolour pencils, which have been incredibly popular. So all of those, any of that selection, you can put in your starter kit. £130, you pay £99, including free shipping, and then you get 20% off your future purchases whilst you're an active demonstrator. So easy. And that will take you through to celebration. Yay! So thank you very much indeed for watching. As I say, if you enjoyed that, give it a thumbs up. If you don't already subscribe, it's the bottom right hand corner. If you want to see all my blog posts when they go live, then hop over to my blog and you can subscribe there, and you'll get an email every time I post a blog post. If you want a catalogue, be that annual or autumn winter catalogue, and you don't already work with the demonstrator and you're in the UK, drop me an email and I'll get one in the post to you. Thank you very much indeed for watching me today, and I hope to see you again very soon. Thanks a lot. Bye!